Moments ago, the Senate returned to our full 100-person strength as Nebraska's new junior senator took the oath of office. The Cornhusker state expects a lot from its leaders. For the last 8 years, Nebraskans could rest easy knowing they had Deb Fischer and Ben Sass on the job here in Washington. And during that same time, of course, they also had an outstanding leader even closer to home. As Governor Pete Ricketts applied private sector savvy to the work of public administration with great effect. He secured for Nebraska families and small businesses the biggest tax relief in that state's history. He championed parents' rights and defended civics education. And in the face of a global pandemic, he built his state's response on common sense, saving lives, but also safeguarding livelihoods, preserving liberties, and protecting kids' educations, all at the same time. The people of Nebraska chose wisely in electing and re-electing Governor Ricketts by huge margins. And their new governor chose wisely in sending his predecessor here to this chamber. I know I speak for the entire Senate in extending a warm welcome to Senator Ricketts and his wife, Suzanne. Pete, we're glad to have you here on the team. Now, on another matter, the American people want and need this 118th Congress to work differently from the past 2 years that we just finished. We just had 2 years of one-party Democratic control. 2 years of spending us into record inflation on party line votes. 2 years of ignoring top priorities of the American people like violent crime and open borders. 2 years of Senate Democrats procrastinating on basic governing duties in order to push radical proposals like an unprecedented elections takeover and unlimited abortion on demand for all 9 months. The American people put an end to that one-party government because they wanted change. This year, the Senate leadership must not put off our most basic jobs, like intelligently funding our federal government and providing for our armed forces before the very last minute. Basic duties like the appropriations process and the National Defense Authorization Act need more thoughtfulness, more bipartisanship, and more regular order. And they must not be shoved into late December after the Senate Democrats waste literally months looking for ways to placate the radical left. The American people elected a bipartisan, divided government. The country voted to change Washington, so this chamber's Democratic leadership needs to change accordingly. Now, on one final matter, over the recent state work period, my team unexpectedly lost a dear friend and longtime colleague, our Eastern Kentucky field assistant, Donna Butt Moore. Donna worked in my London, Kentucky field office for 14 years. She and her co-worker, Donna McClure, ran their team as a dynamic duo. They were born only a month apart. They even shared the same initials. Back in Kentucky, they were known as just the Donnas. And while Donna M. would travel around Eastern Kentucky, Donna B. was the rock who held down the fort at our office. She fielded calls. She greeted visitors. She solved Kentuckians' problems. Donna was endlessly patient, endlessly kind, and endlessly focused on helping constituents. She was sweet and sometimes quiet, more of a listener than a talker, and deeply empathetic. She was the kind of person who would come to the verge of tears almost daily after reading a news article or Facebook post about somebody in need. But woe to anybody who mistook Donna's big heart for any lack of determination. If Donna wanted something done, if Eastern Kentucky needed something done, she made it happen. That's why condolence notes have poured in to our office and to Donna's family from all over Eastern Kentucky, all from people she helped through her public service. Donna's work brought her into contact with important leaders but I understand she was most excited when she had the opportunity once to snap a picture with Lee Greenwood. And I understand another longtime dream was fulfilled just this last August when her duties led Donna to ride on a Black Hawk helicopter with the Kentucky National Guard. After each year's busy August state work period, Donna would always take vacation on the first day of September, not to kick up her heels and take a rest, but to head out in the woods and hunt with her husband. This past year, she bagged a deer all by herself. Donna was the definition of Eastern Kentucky resourcefulness. If she heard you had some extra flowers lying around your house, she'd swing by to gather them for a beautiful arrangement. If you had a leftover meal in your freezer, she'd want to cook it up and feed the whole neighborhood. In fact, she spent much of her time outside the office catering parties for her friends and her neighbors. Donna and her beloved husband, Doug, met later in life, fewer than 10 years ago. It was true love from the start, and Donna quickly became a doting grandma to Doug's grandkids. She loved her brothers, Bruce and Bub. She loved her nieces and nephews. She cherished having such a dynamic family so close to home and treasured any time they could spend together. Donna was also a woman of deep faith who looked to the Bible in every single aspect of her life. Her home and her desk had signs containing just one word: blessed. She savored every gift she received from the Lord, and her funeral service in London last week showed how Donna Butt-Moore was herself a blessing to everyone around her. Elaine and I and my entire staff were stunned and heartbroken to hear of Donna's passing. Friends, colleagues, and neighbors across Kentucky are grieving her loss. I'm so grateful for her service to the people of our Commonwealth.